Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so yeah, man, I didn't get a chance to talk about Mother's Day very much yesterday. It was one of those things where when I got on this camera, I was thinking about other things, as to say the least. If you watch my video, you know exactly where my mind was. And I think personally my mother would be very proud of my choice of conversation with my voice. I don't know if she'd be proud of some of the choice of words that I used yesterday in that particular video, but it's kind of what my mother wanted for me, to do a YouTube channel and share my poetry, for which I have not done at all. But it was her idea for me to start a YouTube channel, and at the time I never actually thought I would do it. But yeah, you can definitely thank my mom for why I am on this camera now. She kept encouraging it more than twice. She said, make a YouTube channel, you should really do a YouTube channel. Yep. Well, I ended up doing one later on, but I found a lot of pictures of my mother yesterday. Pictures that I had shared online before, from when she was a young girl, and how pretty she was and all that good stuff. I was able to show everybody my mom yesterday. And it's very proud of me. I'm very proud of my mother and her accomplishments in life, and how she did raising me. It wasn't always good times in the household, me and her, because we were very different people. And I was dealing with some really serious experiences early on that kind of affected my mood. I wasn't always very nice in the house with Mom. She was always bubbly. She was always nice. But me, I had a lot of issues. And I wasn't always a good son, not as it pertains to how I was treating her. Sometimes she would be nice to me and I would be rude to her. And I wouldn't be rude to no other soul, no one else, just her. Everybody else saw me in my best. But my mother, I would be mean to her because, well, quite honestly, I was comfortable, and I blamed her for certain things, and I wasn't self-aware of how to make myself love myself. And so a lot of that came out in some very negative behaviors. Quite honestly, I was not a kind person, and I was critical at times of her, and frustrated with her, and wanted her to be sharper in certain areas, and all this type of stuff that did not give a good reflection upon my appreciation all the time. You know what I mean? I was a selfish young man at times. Very, very sad too, depressed. And for her to have a bubbly personality, it just didn't always mesh, man. She wanted to eat out a lot of the time. Let's go to Disney's restaurants, let's eat out, let's go to the movies. There were so many opportunities I could have spent with my mother that I chose not to because of my own head. And I gotta always live with that. I gotta live with that. I was able to experience a lot of my mother's energy, but not nearly as much as that was available to me. So many times she wanted to go to church. So many times she wanted to go to the movies. So many times she probably wanted to talk on the phone, and I didn't call, and stuff like that. That I really just know that I could not have changed my ways. I had to become a better version of myself before I could actually welcome any of that in my life. So I don't necessarily beat myself up for that. I just understand that it just was a reflection of my shortcomings as a person at the time. It really was. And I think I would treat her differently today if she was still around, but that's what I'm here to say. You can't really wait until you're a better human being sometimes with people, man, because sometimes they end up leaving the earth before you become that person. And well after you become that person, it's too damn late. You know what I mean? Well after you're ready to do all the stuff they're ready to do now, they're not there anymore. So that's what I want to tell everybody, man. Don't always think that, I'm going to make changes, and when I do, then I'm going to come back around and see about you. That's not how that works sometimes. That's not real, man. Maybe you get that opportunity, maybe you don't. And so for me, I don't. If I'm being completely honest with you, I had a great mother that I took absolutely for granted a good portion of the time. And when she passed away, I still wasn't who I needed to be to appreciate her. But now, many years after she passed, I'm ready to hey, let's go to the movie, mama. Hey, mommy, hey, let me ask you this question. Let me talk to you about this. There were so many different things I didn't want to talk to her about because I was afraid about how I was going to be seen. I didn't want her to know I had girlfriends. I didn't want to talk to her about certain relationship stuff because it was too cringe to me. Ironically enough, she wasn't like that. She always left she was always ready to have them type of conversations. She was a bubbly person in that way. She would have told me all kind of stuff that I wanted to know if I'd have asked, but I was too cringe to ask. It was too awkward for me in my mind. And it was all in my head. She didn't create that environment. I created it for myself, for us not to communicate and stuff like that. So, as I say, I really don't blame myself. This is not one of those situations where I'm sitting up here beating myself up. I know that I couldn't have done it no other way. Based on what I was comfortable with, based on who I was, based on how I viewed the world and viewed myself, there was no other way for me to be, honestly. No other way. But I tell you the truth, man. I had a great mother, and I didn't treat her right, not all the time. I really didn't. And it was because of that lack of love for self and that lack of maturity that made it so. And so I want to tell some of y'all, man, some of y'all may not be too far away from that. Some of y'all really love people and you don't treat them right. You know what I mean? And it ain't because it's something lacking in them. It's because it's something lacking in you. You got to take all of what's wrong with you and just put it there with them, expose them to it if that's what it takes, but don't go without them. Because when you come around and becoming that person, sometimes they're gone, you know? I wish I would have taken all my flawedness and all my flaws and all the different things that were wrong with me, and I wish I would have just swallowed all of that and just spent a little more time with my mother anyway. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how I would have done that. I don't think I was capable of that. To appreciate certain things that I've now learned to appreciate. I don't know how. But I wish I could have been strong enough to bleed through all of that more desire to be in her presence. Really. And I'm glad that my friend B convinced me to spend the night in my mom's house a few times after she had been diagnosed with cancer. Because once she suggested that I spend the night at my mom's house on weekends, I finally actually did it, and we had some of the best times we had near the end, right before things got too bad, you know? So as I think about what I most appreciate, it's just that I was able to accomplish that. And kind of let my mom know as a grown man how much I still enjoyed her company. It was just my own shortcomings mentally that kind of got in the way of how I was perceiving things when she was away. Things that I'm now getting help for, things that I now understand much better, and certain accomplishments, the things that I've started to do now that make me proud of me, would allow me to be more comfortable in her presence because I would have had more to share. Look at all this art I've done. Look at my channel, Mom. Look at talking Lakers and all this stuff that I've done now in this life since she's passed away would have given me so much more confidence in her presence. It really would have. Look at all I've done. Mom, like things you wanted me to do, I got them done. Maybe not on a great scale, but, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like when you don't have those accomplishments and you spend most of your time doing things that don't help yourself, it's hard to be confident in the presence of people that love you, who are rooting for you because you don't feel like you have nothing to show them for that support. And that was a big part of my child problem as a young person. I had nothing to be proud of in my own mind because I didn't do productive things with my time. I really didn't. And so when I look back on, I was talking to a therapist today, look back on how I was as a child versus how I am as a man, I start to realize there's so much of a difference there because of how much I've accomplished for which I can be proud of. And so that's where the difference is for me. But I couldn't wait for those things to happen. I couldn't wait for myself to mature. I couldn't wait for them hard times to grow me up and grow me closer to God. Didn't have it. You know what I mean? The time I had the time, she didn't. And I'm pretty sure she would be happy to see who I'm becoming. She would definitely be proud of me more so today than she probably was when she was alive. But what does that do for our relationship when she died? I don't say that to depress myself or others. I say that because I'm trying to help people understand that that's what it takes. You got to bleed through your own shortcomings so you can be in the lives of the people that you love before they pass away. Because if you wait, either they may run out of time or you may run out of time, or both. And in those days, they don't keep coming around, especially when your loved one is older, like my mom was. They don't keep coming around. You gotta love them while they're there. You can't wait till I'm comfortable now. Too late. I became comfortable 7-8 years after she passed away. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the truth, man. And I gotta live that, not just say it, because I got people in my life right now that I treat that way. And I ain't around. Happy they're alive, but not taking advantage of it. It is what it is, man. I gotta overcome that now. And maybe you do too. So that's the purpose of this video, man. Obviously, I appreciate my mother. I just wish I could have had more appreciation for her. And it could have bled into more effort. And having her in my life and treating her in a way that she would have been appreciative of while she was still here to get those flowers. I did some things. And she was happy with what she received, she told me. But to say that I did all that I could or showed her exactly all of that, no, I didn't. I did not. And I know it. And that's something I'm going to have to live with going forward. So I don't want that for y'all. If y'all got people in your lives you need to be treating better, children, parents, whatever the case may be, give them a call. See about them if you can. If you can bleed through your own shortcomings, take into account my testimony. Because when you finally come around and want to be around them, they may not be available, however that goes. So that's what I have to say, man. That's the thought that's on my mind when I consider my mom. It's just how much more I would have loved to show her how much I considered her and was appreciative of her. And all of the warm energy she provided in a world that is really cold. You know, and some of the problem that I had was my threshold for things. It wasn't that I had been through so much, it's that I hadn't. So my threshold for stress, my threshold for tolerance, my threshold for bleeding through my own shortcomings wasn't really there. And had I been through what I've been through since, I'd have known the importance of enjoying just the simple company of somebody you can trust. You know, enjoying the welcome nature of somebody you know that loves you and wants to be around and do things for you. You know what I mean? I'd have cherished that so much more now because of all the crap I've been through. That made it so that some of them days I've had since have been hard as hell. Some of the people I interacted with that I thought I could trust or that I loved and didn't love me back, and how those things unfolded make you appreciate your mother even more. You know what I mean? It took going through some of the stuff that I've been through to say, yo, damn, it's a real nice luxury just having somebody you absolutely can trust, who will absolutely do anything for you, who absolutely loves you more than anything else. Because when you look around, after that person is gone, boy, do you start seeing a cold world around you where the smiles are not as genuine, and the favors are more so conditional. You know what I mean? And everybody has their own understanding of that. Everybody has their own understanding of that. Some people didn't have a great mom, a great dad, or whatever. But when you have one, and you take them for granted, or you don't take the time that you know you should, then when they go away, you start seeing some of them smiling faces ain't real. Some of these people mean, evil, conniving, self-centered, whatever the case, hateful. Then you start understanding why you should have spent more time with your mother, been more patient with her. All of this different stuff that I've come to understand because of those real situations that I've since experienced since she's passed. So, yeah, man, it's a cold world, man. Don't be pushing away warm people, especially if they gave birth to you and they love you. Take it from somebody who lost that person while not really necessarily appreciating that, and then found out how much I was blessed for having that person afterward. You need to get that right now. Understand that before it's too late. You don't want to wait. It's definitely something that you'll regret. It ain't worth it to stay in that space you in, treating them however you treating them. It ain't worth it. I'm telling you. Get that situation right so you don't regret it for the rest of your life. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. Rest in peace to Mom. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.